So Florida and the Everglades and the Croc, the cage being built for the Beast Man on a flip-flop level. And as the alligator is being shown in New York, the alligator is being shown in Florida, and this is part of the garden being put eastward on America and the Eden, the end and the beginning, and that merger time that we're in. But you got the Sin, which is the moon god, and that's New York, and that's kind of going dark. And you got the Black Adam with that Zoran or whatever, the Zohar. Anyways, this is the woman spirit, the Eve up there. And it's going dark in that way. And then Florida, it's going dark spiritually. The other one's physically. It's spiritual and physical, but the spiritual necessarily hasn't hit yet as far as the money, because what they're doing is to where it makes the markets go up and makes you feel like you're getting richer while you actually go get poorer. Okay, so when gold goes up, when Bitcoin goes up, it means your dollar's strength goes down. And since you got the BRICS and all these things setting up, that SWIFT currency, all those things can come rushing in, and you can hear it, maybe that old Putin, the old hole in one in the ear. So that Florida, the flow right over that Gulf of America, that little cub, Cuba, all these things would help that Antichrist system, that coming in and shutting down your own nation through the hate and all these things of your own heart, and then you're being locked in there unless you take this tree of life. But this tree of life that gives you freedom to access the good and evil per se that's being placed in front of you is being told to you by the lights that the dead are running to, called the church or whatever, and they're saying, oh, that's the mark of the beast, or the religious spectrums of this world that's spreading out lights. That's the mark of the beast. You can't do that, blah, blah, blah. So that's where you're being put into the garden. And one aspect as far as America, that Christian Judeo nation, and since that world stage and stuff, these kings are breaking forth upon the world stage. This is where the people who aren't believers are going to be running to the church in one aspect, but also people that's been in the church are going to be leaving the church in one way. But not going to be that many, because obviously the church, the pastors and such, they don't want the real people talking on their shows or in their churches or whatever, because it will show that they basically don't know anything. So they're just repeating shit from 1850 or however long it's been. And the tree of life and gathering in this garden, and DeSantis, the Santa, that north, okay, on a compass, that second coming, the compass, that is where the north, the east is always to the right side. So that's where you have the Satan, Santa's coming in, summertime, while it's hot in the North Pole or whatever, taking a little vacation while it's not Christmas time. And then the elves are out playing around and doing whatever while Santa's gone. And then Santa's going to come back, and that's when he goes back into the Christmas time frame, and the cold and that burr, that ice age and stuff really hits hard. And that coal, that lump of coal, you might not get that lump of coal. That serpent starts coming in instead. That present's being unwrapped as it's been wrapped, and that unwrapping is part of your rapture. Well, shit, we're screwed as the dawn. Box us in the ass as the donkey. as we're on the back of the donkey, going into that old primary birth, into that stable coin position. And that old Washington, that water's going to be dumped out. And either way, y'all, that's where you got to get out of that Washington. You got to walk on the water. You got to rise above the water, jump onto another pail, get onto another boat. Those types of things that Jesus tells you to do, that they're telling you, it's, oh, well, Jesus really did this 3,000 years ago. Okay, so that's my little arcade voice jumping on at you. Okay. Either way, y'all, I got to get to work. So, Satan is here. Flip a little things I said back then, and we got it going on, folks. Okay, so please pass the channel. This little water of life needs to get out there so that people can drink, because they might be thirsty now after they've been running around so long. Well, maybe after the old Iran comes for the critical race and that cross fitness and shit. Okay, maybe they'll be a little more thirsty then.